Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Tiffany O'Hearn, and I want to ask you something. Are you stuck in patterns that keep you reacting instead of responding? Because today, we're going to uncover how energy healing can help you break free from those cycles and bring more balance into your life. So, again, my name is Tiffany O'Hearn, and I am an energy healing practitioner. I am also a podcast host, a speaker, and just generally here as a wisdom catalyst to use my voice, to use my gifts in energy healing to help guide you, right, to that next highest version of yourself, because we all get to heal. We all get to heal. And sometimes something somebody says will really be the impetus towards us reclaiming that within us. And so I trust that this could be your time. And so, we were talking about reacting instead of responding, right? So let's get into energy healing and how that can really help. So when we talk about energy healing, it's really about connecting ourselves to ourselves, about becoming aware, about using curiosity instead of judgment and shame when we experience or as we experience life, right? We are all energetic beings. We are all energetic beings. And we have with us imprints of past wounds that really can manifest into limiting beliefs in this life. It can manifest into physical symptoms, into these emotional responses with which we feel we can't control, because in those moments when our nervous system takes over, when we have bumped up against a trauma, we don't have that control. We only have that space to react. And so energy healing allows us to transmute that really dense energy within us, those traumas, right? Because energy cannot be changed. It can be transmuted. And so you take those dense energies and you release them so that it doesn't cause you those wounds, those traumas, right? So that we can feel peace and clarity inside. It's about taking out that stagnant energy that doesn't serve us anymore, right? These old programs, these old past woundings, so we can move forward with joy, with freedom, instead of carrying that heavy weight that those traumas and wounds really ask of us, downright demand of us in this life. And so when we transmute wounds, right, we're turning our pain into a strength. We're saying lovingly that, yes, you're there, but I don't need you in that way anymore. It's about acknowledging. It's about being really, really curious. It's about being devoted to ourselves, knowing that we matter enough to want to shift, that we recognize that we are reacting to life, that we are not in control of our person. It's really the only thing we're in control of. There's not a thing outside of us that we can control. Try as we might, because we certainly do try, don't we? And so when we don't address these wounds, that's what we find is this hyper reactivity, this hyper need to control things outside of ourselves because we're not meeting our own needs. They're unaddressed wounds, and they manifest in our daily life through triggers, through emotional reactivity, anxiety. If you are an anxious person, if you define yourself as somebody with anxiety, it's not a question of if energy healing is for you. It is, right? We need to stop repeating these negative patterns. You might find yourself getting overly reactive in certain situations or constantly feeling drained by similar people. And this could be that gentle moment within yourself to witness that an old wound has surfaced for you to lovingly heal and release. And it requires a great amount of love for ourselves to do that. And I know that you have that. We all have that. It's just we've forgotten. We're so, far away from ourselves that when we step back home, it feels foreign. Energy healing invites us to step back home with a sense of love and a peaceful understanding that this is where we need to exist. And we need to be, to live that life of ease and joy. And so we can get super curious with ourselves, right? Now, if we talk about our response versus a reaction, right? Our reactions feel like we have no control. They're immediate and they stem from this unprocessed pain. While reactions really come from a grounded place and allowing us to handle a situation with clarity and ease and pause, right? A reaction just comes flooding through. A response is thoughtful. A response is clarity. A response is peaceful. And I know that throughout our days, right, we have more capacity to respond to life. And then there are some days where we are in a full on reaction mode. It's in those moments of reaction when you can to get super curious. Why am I reacting in this way? And if you get quiet, if you're brave enough to be quiet and have the courage to listen, the answers are there for you, right? And a lot of times, our wounding doesn't just exist in this current life. We have wounds from our past life karma. We have wounds from our ancestral DNA. And a lot of times in our current life, from what I've found through working with myself and through my clients, is it tends to be a blend of the three. And we can transmute those energies. And so I'm going to take you through a quick little experience that I had so we can truly understand the power of healing. Now, since I was a kid, I have been afraid of wind, right? It's such a funny thing to be afraid of. But I was afraid of wind. Now, it wasn't because I had a tree. There was no incident. There was no impetus to this fear of wind that I had. And yet I had it. I would often sleep in the hall as a child. If I knew that it was going to be a windy day, my nervous system would be engaged, right? But I didn't always know it now. I have the words for it now, but I didn't as a kid. As an adult, I got a sound machine because now I can't hear the wind. So I don't even know it exists. But trust me when I tell you, if I go to bed and it's windy out, my nervous system was engaged. And so I hike a lot. And so this summer, I was in the forest and sleeping in my hammock, and there was a thunderstorm. Well, what follows a thunderstorm is wind. And so I was there in my hammock and I get out my headlamp. The storm was electric too. There was so much energy around it. And I start writing my programs because we have these programs. And if we pay attention, we always say them. We say what our programs are. And so I started writing my programs. I'm afraid that the trees are going to fall. I'm afraid of the noise of it. I'm afraid of the energy of it, right? And to really find that program. The interesting thing was, it really wasn't in this life. It was in my ancestral DNA and my past life karma. Nonetheless, I sat there and I cleared this trauma of the wind. Now, fast forward, probably about 3-4 weeks later, I'm in the woods again. And it is a windy evening. And I'm sitting in my hammock. And all of a sudden, I looked around and I thought to myself, oh, it happened. It was windy out and I was peaceful inside. That's what we get to be. We get to take the things that we fear. We get to take the things that keep happening. Look at your life, right? Are you constantly having the same relationships? Are you constantly finding yourself in the same chaotic situations? Well, like attract like. That's energy. And so again, it's in those moments that we can get super curious and seek the guidance with which we need, because that's why they keep coming up for us. When we heal, we gain control. We get to choose how we respond to life. Instead of feeling swept by these reactions, we have choice. That's what energy healing can do for us, is to invite us back home to clear, to transmute these dense energies so that they're just energy, that they're not attached to one another. And then we get to respond to life. And I promise you, it works if you work it, right? And I can't do it for you. I'm simply the guide. And there's lots of other energy healers out there. I would love for you to heal with me. But more importantly, I would love for you just to heal, to choose you, because no one else can choose you for you. So next time you are triggered, I'm asking you, I invite you to take a pause, take a breath, and notice how your body feels. And get curious and see if you can figure out where that reaction came from. What preceded it? Get still. Use your breath to ground you. Be open to what you receive. If you're ready to move from reaction to response and transmute what no longer serves you, I am here to support you. Remember, healing is a journey, and each step brings us closer to our true self. And that includes you. If you watch this video, send me some love down below. If you want to say yes to you and experience what energy healing can do, visit me at www.heartandsoulhealing.com. I have all my packages within that. You feel free to DM me, comment below. But it's time for you to choose you. Again, it doesn't have to be with me. I would love to guide you. It's more important that we choose ourselves. We choose to heal. We choose to respond to life instead of react. Until next time, I wish you a beautiful life. Cheers.